to talk about apostilles. What is an apostille and what does the intake form look like and how that is going to be filled out. Mark's going to show you exactly how to fill that out. First, I'm going to tell you what an apostille is. So it's a authentication from the Secretary of State for a document that needs to leave the country. We offer this. Again, in some of our videos, we've talked about being an apostille officer or an official apostille agent. Those are kind of made up things. You can offer this service to people and you can call yourself whatever you want, but it's an apostille service. So we have people that come to us with a power of attorney that they need notarized in Italy. And we take the form. We have them fill out this apostille certification request. Again, Mark's going to show you. They sign off on it. We mail it to either a courier that we have personally known in the state of Tallahassee for us. She will walk that in. That cuts the time down from 2 to 3 weeks down to maybe 4 or 5 days. So that's an additional fee that we offer. If they're not in a rush, then we will just send it priority, give it the couple weeks that it takes, and then it'll come back to them. So very simple process. It is important to understand the process and do it correctly because there are some nuances, but Mark's going to go over that right now.
Okay, so like Grace said, it's a pretty straightforward process. This is an intake form for the Florida Department of State. Now, each state is going to have their own unique intake form as well as their fees. They're all actually pretty similar. But so you would look at the intake form for the state the document is going to. So how do you know what state it's going to? Well, if it is something you are notarizing, it's going to your Secretary of State. If it is a document that has originated from another state, like New York, for example, like a birth certificate from New York, it has to go to the New York Secretary of State. And interestingly enough, in New York, it actually has to go to the county clerk, who then sends it to the Secretary of State. So again, every state's a little nuanced, but for this, pretty straightforward. You take their information. Where you really need to make the determination is the $10 or $20 fee, $10 per document, which would be a notarized document, or $20 per document certified by the clerk. So we're talking birth certificates, death certificates, divorce decrees, those kinds of things would be the $20 fee. And those are things you would not be notarizing because they are already in an official capacity. So with like a power of attorney, for example, that you would be notarizing, now you've made it an official document by notarizing it. And then, of course, we would send it to the Secretary of State. The real homework you have to do, if you're in a capital city, you obviously can just courier that yourself. If you are not, then you need to network and find a courier, one that's reliable, that you can use to be a partner with if you're going to offer that expedited service. Because usually if you're just mailing them into most of them, they have a few week turnaround and people may need them faster than that. Now, the other level of apostille is a U.S. Department of State. Now, this is reserved for documents that are going to be federal in nature. So if a country, for example, wants an FBI background check, then you are going to have to take that background check and send it to the U.S. Department of State. To the best of my knowledge, there's no way to speed that process up. It's 8 weeks. You can only email them. There's nobody you can really get on the phone. So it's just kind of a slow process when it comes to the U.S. Department of State. Ironically, also, if you have a country that is what we call a non-Hague Treaty country, which this will be extremely rare that this would happen, but if you have a non-Hague Treaty, it has to go from your Secretary of State's apostille to then the U.S. Department of State for a federal apostille, and then can make it to its end destination. So steps involved. Again, it's not necessarily simple, but it's not necessarily that complicated. But that right there is apostilles in a nutshell. So there you have it.
Okay, so now you have a definition of what an apostille is, and you have seen the process in the intake form, and Mark has thoroughly explained, what the laws are and what you are to do. Let's talk about what we are charging to do this. My flat fee always remains about $125, depending on what type of service that the client chooses, whether it's the 2 to 3 week or the expedited with the courier 4 to 5 day. It's about $10 for the document, and whether you're paying a courier $50 or just doing a priority mailer there and back for the slower way, I'm still right around $125. But we're talking about, I mean, not a lot of work. We're talking about minutes of somebody coming in, showing a document, filling out the form, you setting a mailer up, and just setting and forgetting it, basically. So if you're not offering this service, I suggest that you, again, do your research and offer it. Just start offering it. You don't know who's going to want it. If you don't throw it out there, then you're just leaving money on the table. That's not a good thing. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. We try to be really transparent and open with you guys. And if you have any questions, you can book a discovery call. The link will be down below. If you have questions about anything that we do or any services that we offer or how we can help you potentially. All right, guys, take care.